Alright, my champions, welcome back, and let's get started quickly with video number 1 of working with files. So far we have seen a glimpse of files and quite a bit of it. Right, so today we are going to start fresh and we are going to learn few more things right today which we could not write, because last video we finished with function and files. I still remember when we used the Excel file and we used to write and read from the file. We learned that how do we read and write from the file, and now this session is going to be a real fun. And before I get started with the session, I would like to give you the recap of what the program actually is, because maximum of you tend to forget the core line of the program, wherein under us there are things which are possible under us and there are things which are not possible under us, right? And I'll give you the perspective of the things which are possible under us and also the things which are not possible under us. And I'll show you that menu right here, and you can clearly see right here what we basically showed you the last time when we started the first time, right? And this is what I showed you. This is what I have been given, and this is what I have been instructed to teach you. Right? Teaching and training is absolutely free, but exam to get certifications for online examinations always going to be 800 rupees plus 18% GST. Certification charges with printed fees is going to be 650 plus 18% GST. And now once you have processed here, and almost all of you have passed the examination and you are through, and now what is your duty is to understand what is coming free for you guys. We're getting started with Anaconda and Pandas is absolutely free. Training complete Pandas free. Using NumPy library for scientific computing is absolutely free. Interactive visualizations for Matplot, that means training is absolutely free, but we're not promising any training which is examinations and everything else. So that's not coming free, and wherein we still have to occupy lots and lots of time. We give you time, that's what's under us, right? But what is not under us, it's better to clear it out first, and you can go through the first lecture and you'll find the same being delivered to you, right? And now this is all what we are going to go through, including I have included two things here, which is object-oriented programming and a database, right? So database is here because we could not complete scripting and OOPS using Python. OOPS is a bit complete and we still have many things remaining, and DB connectivity is remaining. So we're not going to charge you. This is free, and this is free, and every single thing is free. And now if you want to upgrade to artificial intelligence with certifications, it has some different charges right here, right? So training will be free up to this point only. Right, and that is what basically we have to do. That means, and now on your request, I've also included web application development right here, right? So we will be learning web application development also. That is also free. That means till the time we go to the next program, right? So that next level certification is going to be something extra. But yeah, we have some amount, 1 month of training that is absolutely free. That's what you are here for. Get trained, get equipped with all that what you have, and right, and for credentials, for credentials you'll have to pay. I hope it's understood for all of you and you can go through this, right? All right, so I'll close it down, and if you have any confusions, you can see and go through the first lecture. I have presented before you the same PPT right before starting the session, right? Almost 20 video session we had covered so far, right? And I wish you all the best for trainings. It's better to learn. Let's focus on the next month, what is coming, right? And only when you learn will you be able to pass examination. I never believe that all of you will pass examinations, right? And all of you who are aspired is what we require. We require you more than you require us, because we also require, if there is no one learning, who should I deliver lecture to? Because you guys are learning, you're very enthusiastic, you're very passionate. That's what makes us and urges us create better videos, create better lectures. And even if tomorrow it opens, we'll call you to the center and provide you live trainings at the center with the same fee, for the same cost, right? And I wish you all the best. Let's quickly get started. And to get started, we'll open Anaconda. We'll immediately open Anaconda Navigator. Navigate to Anaconda, all right? It's initializing. By the time it initializes, right, let me give you the perspective of what are we going to learn in this session, right? So the agenda will be, till the next examination, our agenda will be as follows. Right, we'll be learning files. Right, we will be learning OOPS with classes and functions. We will be introducing you, is going to be introduction to MySQL, relational database management system, and it is going to be, after that we are going to see modern, or we can say full stack, right, we can say use of MVC, which is the modern pattern, and then we are going to jump into VS Code, and we are going to learn, right, Django as an MVC web application development framework, right, and introduction to NumPy, introduction to pandas, right? This is what we are going to learn in this session, right? So this is what my agenda is going to be, and it is sufficient for you guys, right, to just go nearer to one step nearer to artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So files is still pending, right, and then we still have some data exploration also left. So this is going to be this is basically not even intermediate. So intermediate we are going to finish here, right? So we are going to start from, so I'll tell you, we're going to start advanced we are going to start from here, right? We're almost done with intermediate part also. So here we are going to start with advanced, right? And now Anaconda Navigator is open. So let me go back to Anaconda Navigator and quickly jump into Spider, right, and get started using Spider. It is again a very good tool, right, for programming, interactive Python programming, and it is very good for testing as well, right? Sorry. Okay, let's get started with Spider, right? So this is the last program that I've shown you. It's getting connected to kernel. Right now our program is ready, right? So the last time we just closed the lecture, right, and we finished here, right? We tried to create an object. So I said, for example, let me call this as file object. All right, let me see how to increase the font. I'll pause and increase the font and come back for you guys as quickly. Okay, it is already done, so I've increased it, right? Fine. Okay, now it's visible. I said file object. Now you can see syntax checking is done. So I'll say is equal to open, right? I need to open a file. So this yellow sign means that this is something that you have declared and you're not used. Now you can see you have initialized it. It is going to open, and I said I am going to open a file, all right, in E column slash my files slash, so we have to give double slash to just skip the special meaning of the slash. Okay, let me go back to E, my files. So it was students, I suppose. Yeah, so we had this file students, okay? So I said I want to open students dot CSV, that are comma separated values, right? Okay, so first things first, let's run no error, right? And now I said I want to open this file, right? I only want to read from the file. All right, so let me run it. No problem, no error. And then I said I will create records. I want to read one by one, so I'll say is equal to this file object that you have created and read lines. Now you can see this is the magic of Spider, that it gets IntelliSense. Now you can see you will not be able to make syntax errors here. So I'll say I want to read lines, and read lines is a function. I repeat, it is a function, right? And this is what we done. So then I said I want to declare an empty dictionary. This is how we declare an empty dictionary. All right, so let me not terminate it. Okay, check one by one. So now you can see you don't have any error. Errors will be displayed here in the console if in case you have any. For example, if I change for example this to something else, so for example the file is not found, so you're going to get an error, right? You can getting an error, no such file or directory, right? You can clearly see this error right here, that you're not finding any directory, right? So I'll just delete it. Now you are opening a file right here, right? An instance that you are opening the file returns a file which goes to this file object. Open is a function. It returns the active file which goes to this file object, right? And you read line by line. You iterate through each and every line, and that all the lines are now stored in this records. If I say print records, right? Now you can see you're getting all the records as a list. Now if I tell you, if you get a question tomorrow, right, if for example in examinations you happen to get the same question, what does read lines return? What does it return? You can clearly experiment and remember this for your entire life, that it returns. Now we are having dogs barking here. I don't know, whenever I start recording they start barking. Let me pause it for a while. Okay, so now if you happen to get this question, and this is how you respond. Now you can see that it returns a live list. So now read lines will read all the lines, right? And it is row wise, right, not column wise. Going to read, for example we have 3 columns, it's going to read all the rows, right? For example, if I go to students and I open this file, so now lines are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, right? And each and every line, right, contains a single row, right? 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5 rows. Now what does read lines return, right? And it returns a list, right? Now we know that if we have to go through the list, right, if we have to iterate through the list, we need to go through a loop. And for that I say for records in records. So now I am looping through, and I am looping through records as rec. If I say I need to print rec now. Now see what you are getting. You're getting at first line it is R0980, which is Naveed. He's a male, and 78 is something, 66 marks maybe, right? Who knows? Yeah, it's marks, and 89. So now you can clearly see what is happening once you are reading from the file. It returns a list, then you're iterating through the list, printing the records, as simple as anything, right? Okay, so now you can even, if you want to convert it to a dictionary, so you can even say that, hey, I declare a list that every field, right, I declare a list fields is going to have record dot split. Now you can see IntelliSense is coming, and then if I say print, I can say print the same fields, right? So let me run it. Now you can see that you have splitted, right? You can see they had no splitted values. Now we are having splitted values. This is one list, this is another, this is third, this is fourth. All right, so it has basically converted it to a list right here. Now if I say I need field 0, this is what split does. I need field 0 right here. So now you will get Naveed, I suppose, right? Oh no, not fields. So I will say yeah, just a moment, what are we getting here? So I need once you are okay, splitting it sorry, say r dot split, and the condition is comma. I didn't give this condition. It is going to split on the basis of space. Then now it is going to split. Now you can say it has splitted everything. The row 0 contains all the lines, which is the ID, and then 1 are the names, right? 2 are maybe the sex, which is male or female, and 3 is going to be the marks, right? So you had to give condition of split. Where do you want to split exactly, right? So if I only show you this, it was not okay. Now you can see that it has splitted all values on the basis of commas, right? So you can see, because comma separated values, CSV is that we are reading comma separated values, right? So that's as simple as anything, right? And then I said that, wow, hey, wait a second, why don't you store them one by one? Why don't you store name in fields 1, right? So I said that your name is going to be is equivalent to fields 1, right? And what is field 0 going to be then? All right, field 0 is going to be something, 2 is going to be something, 3 is going to be, so 0 is going to be roll number, right? And name is second, third is going to be gender or sex, whatever you call it, right? And the last but not the least, marks. Now we are done. Now we have separate values and separately stored. But now I said I declare this dictionary, right? And I want this dictionary to have key and a value pair. So now this dictionary is going to have key and a value pairs, right? And let me show you a small demonstration of how we are going to have those key and value pairs, and can we have a single key for the entire dictionary, or we can Google through the dictionary, or we can look through the dictionary as well, right? Because I had because many of you did not understand this, so that's why the demand has, once your demand came, I had to re-record and maybe show you a few more things, right? Plus, okay, let me show you the small demonstration of this right here. Okay. All right, now, so we have taken all the fields now, whatever we had to take, right? So now making this key and a value pair in a different manner now, right? So I'll say data, and I'll give it a key, right? And that key is going to be my roll number, right? So I'll say this roll number is going to be my key, and it is going to take, now it depends whether you make it a dictionary, you make anything. Now you have all the fields available. You want to take them to database, take them to database, right? Now, because everything is available at your disposal now, right? But yeah, if you want to query, now this is how we query. I will say, now right here, name is a key and name is a value here, right? And I will say key, let's change gender to 6, so I'll say gender, right? So this is the key and this is the value, and the second is going to be third. Marks is the key and marks is the value. Now then everything, every single thing is set and done right here, right? So now this is how it happens. This is how you use. I'm going to show you a few different things. It's not going to be a complete repeat of the class, right? If I say now print data, so now let us see outside the loop I'm printing, and let's see what's in the data first. Now you can see what's in the data, right? It's a complete dictionary of data. But now I say I need to get data where roll number is equal to R0980. R0980. Look what I write. Right? So now I am querying it. Now please tell me, right? Because roll number is already given. I'm assigning a specific roll number, and I'm assigning, because it's in the loop, right? So a specific roll number will have specific details, and it's very simple. It's nothing like more complicated here. Okay, and I'll pass it as string. All right, so So let's see. Now we are getting name for this roll number is Naveed, sex is male, marks is 78, and /n means it's next line. /n means escape sequence, right? Or I can say I need value for R0001, right? Fine, so I'm getting Idris, sex male, right? Marks 54. Okay, now if I try and let's say about if I try and delete the file, right? I go and I try and delete the file. So it says could not delete the file because the file is open. So I'll close the file and I'll say try again. I'm still not able to delete the file. Why? I told you unless you close the file. This file is meant to be closed because you have opened the file and now it is your duty to close the file at the end, right? So I'll say file object dot close. Now you are able to close this file, right? So now if I run it, now I'm getting, now if I delete this, now you can see, okay, just a moment. Maybe the file is open. Let me close. Okay. So now if I go and open the file, right, so the file is there, I close and I try to delete the file, still not getting deleted. Let me see what's wrong. So I say file object dot close. Right, just a moment. Okay, now let me try and delete the file. Yeah, now you can see the file is easily deleted. I'll just undo, delete, and the file is back, right? Now if I don't close the file, close is a function that we have to call. I was missing parenthesis. Now this is what we have learned so far, right? Open the file, read the lines, right? Iterate through the lines, store all the lines in appropriate variables, right? And now this is not the case. Now what if I don't close the file? I will say file object. Now you can see here. Now it is going to be a very, very good thing, right, to learn, right? If I say now that I don't want to close the file, right? I will say I want to do with. So I'm using this with keyword here. I'll say with. Open this file as file object. Now see the magic here. Right, and I run it, I get absolutely same result. So now if I go and delete the file, it's still deleted, right? So now you can see that it has different things that we have to take care of, right? Because we have opened the file as file object. Now you say file object dot read line. Now what this with is going to do, right? This with is going to basically close. When the operation is complete, the file is closed automatically, right? Okay, now I'm getting some invalid syntax, right? Just a moment. Okay, we're getting some problem. So I'll say with open this file. Okay, I don't require to pass any argument as file object. So now I'm still getting invalid object. Just a moment. Okay, with open files, yeah, now every single thing is going to be inside this with, right? So let me, because indentation problem, so now everything is going to be inside this with, right? So let me read it. Okay, fine. Okay, let me delete it and see what are we getting here. Okay, let me delete all. Still getting invalid syntax. With open my file. So if I say I want to read from this file, okay, I get invalid syntax. Why do I get invalid syntax? Do I have any txt file here? Salary, S-A-L-A-R-Y. So let me open S-A-L-A-R-Y salary dot txt, and let's read. Now we're getting an error here with this kind of methodology. So I will say as file object. Right, okay, fine, I'm sorry. Right, so I just forgot everything today. Now what is happening, you are not basically starting it. You have to use a colon right here, and then if I run it, yeah, now it's working as expected. Okay, we were missing this colon right here. So now what's the point? The point here is that we are not worried about closing the file. So this with is going to garbage collect. Now what is garbage collection? It is basically now the operation is done. Right, so there is something in the memory. You go and clean up the memory. So this with is the modern style of handling files. So if I say now I am going to read it, right, so it works as expected, right? So now if I go ahead and students, now if I go ahead and delete it, now you can see it's deleted. I will say undo delete, students comes back. Right, and now if I do not use this with, I will say open. So I will say file object is equal to open the file, and I'm not using with anymore. Alright, so now if I run it, I get unexpected indent. So I know that I'll have to indent it correctly, and there's a property which you can use, alright, to indent here properly by, yeah, because it's basically badly indented. So let me indent it again, right, for you. Right, then now indentation is done. If I open, I'm getting results as expected. But now if I go and delete the file, you can see the file cannot be deleted because it's open in Excel, right? So that is where we are going to use the modern style with, right? So you'll say with open this file, whatever read or write, and then as is the alias given to the file. It is just a prefix that we are using, right? It's an alias given to this file, right? And now you don't have to close the file. Now when you run it, you can see the file is closed automatically, right? But it is manually physically open. So now if I delete it, now it's deleted, right? Okay, and the second thing that I should show you is the following. All right, because this is expected to generate exceptions. Now what is the difference between exception and an error? Exception happens at runtime, error does not happen at runtime, right? So I'll say try, and now I'll have to keep it inside try and further indented, right? All right, so I'm doing further indentation right here, right? Indentation is a must here, right? All right, so now I am inside this try block, and I know I have to use except. Now this is going to catch the exception. I'll say as except as IO. Now you can get IO error, right? Or you can say except IO error as E, right? And then I can say print the exception. All right, so this is what we can do right here. So it will not get any, will not raise any exception, right, because every single thing is working fine here. I'll go ahead and just take this print outside and run the project. Yeah, it's expected to work fine. So now if in case exception comes, you're going to handle the exception. No such file. So you see that no red line error has come. The error comes in red line here, but it's showing that it's a user defined error. You can user define the error right here as well, right? I can say right exception has occurred, right? So now you can see you're getting exception has occurred. So now this is the magic of Python, and this is the magic of using this with keyword, right, when dealing with files, right? And this was the whole topic, and yeah, there were many things new in it. You should be more aware and you should be more familiar with iterations and loops now, because as we proceed ahead with the course, we will go through, you know, many different things, right? wherein we have to learn loop, and we have to learn every single thing, and we have to learn to iterate maybe 2-3 times in a loop, right? And let me take a new topic today. So this is it, it's done. All right, so let me take a new topic today, which is going to be zip. All right, and zip is an inbuilt function. It iterates over multiple iterables in a parallel meaning with zip, right? We can act upon 2 lists at the one time. We can pass 2 iterables like list, and we can enumerate through them, right? Let me show you a demonstration of how we deal with this what do you call that as zip. Okay, zip is a inbuilt function. First of all, it's a basic it's a very good function, right? And it's more used with you can say lists and different things, right? So let me say items 1 is equivalent to, so let me call 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now this is, as you know, it's a complete list. It contains blue, it contains red, it contains green, it contains orange, and it contains yellow, right? So let's say items 2 is equivalent to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's say sky is blue, right, and sunset is red, right, and lawn is green, right, fruit is orange, dress is yellow. Now we have 2 lists, right? For example, now if I say for item in, now we have to iterate through 2 lists right here, right? So we can say for item, let's say for item 1 and item 2. So we're iterating through 2 lists at the same time, right? In, now what we can do, so we can say items, this is items, right? So this is just an range variable declared. And now what we can say in items 1, right? In items 1, and let's say items 2, right? So now we can loop through. All right, so we can say let's say print, we can use this item 1 comma item 2, all right, as simple as anything. But we're not going to get desired results right here, because what we are doing, we are using for loop, and whenever we iterate through items 1, right, whenever iteration takes place, each and every iteration will go to this, and items 2 will go to item 2. Because why is it item and why is it items? Because once you loop through, you're breaking down, and first loop you're breaking down items into item. But for example, for the first time when the loop runs, item 1 will take items 1, and the first element of items 1, that is blue, and for the first time when the loop runs, item 1 will have blue and item 2 will have sky, right? And then if I say print item and item 2, right? So now what is happening, it says too many values to unpack, right? Now what I do, I will say, hey, wait a second, I will use a zip here, right? I will say, hey, in is good, but you mind if you zip them? Zip item 1 and item 2 as item 1 and item 2, then print. Now you can see, now what zip has done is magic. Blue, sky, red, sunset, green, lawn, orange, fruit, and yellow, dress. And as I said, right, it returns tuple. Now what does it return? It returns a tuple, right? So I'll say zip. Always remember this, these things help in exams, right? Zip returns a tuple, right? So always remember that zip returns a tuple, right, containing the nth element, each and every element of iteratable, right? We can loop over tuples for elements, but we cannot access elements by indexes. or we cannot use length. We must loop over our zip objects. Return tuple elements are in order to the iteratable. Now you can see because it's in order to the iteratable. Here we have blue, then sky. Right? So we have red and then sunset. Green and lawn. That's why I said when I started, it iterates over multiple iteratables. Now, is list iteratable? Right. Is second list iteratable? Yes. Now, what do you want? You want to iterate over multiple iteratables. Now, you can see this is how we iterate over multiple, and not only iterate, we join them, right, in order. Right? You can see that this joining is happening in the order. First is joined with first, second is joined with second, third is joined with third. So this is how zip is very, very useful, right? Let's say we create two demo text files, right? So let me go to my files, which is my favorite one. So I create two demo files. Let me show you how zip works, right? For example, I create a text file let me call this as employee, right? So employee employee.txt, right? So we have this. This is a simple txt file. It has nothing to do with as that of CSV or Excel file. So for example, we will say employee Fahim, right? Right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees. All right. So I'll close it down. All right. So let me close it down. So now I will create another. It is going to be renamed because it is employee, or we can say EMP. Employee is already there, so I'll say EMP. So now EMP has 5 names, and let me create a new txt file and call this as sal. All right, sal means salary. So I will say 34,000, 24,000, 15,000, 32,000, right, 45,000, right, and 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 5 values here, and in EMP we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names, right? So let me show you the magic of zip here. So I will just let me rather close it down. So now they are commented. All right, so I'll go on top. So whenever you comment, don't write code underneath, write code on top of the commented thing. All right. Okay, now the modern style, I will say with. I want to close my file. I'm using with because I have to close the file automatically. I don't have to write file dot close. Now you can see I am opening ultimately 2 files with single with. I will say open, right. Now here you go to E column, find my files, and there you have emp.txt, right? You open this at F1, which is going to be, or open it as emp, right? And comma, open single with, open second file. I'll say open. And now we have sal. Was it sal or salary? Yeah, it's sal.txt, right? So open another file known as sal.txt and open this file as sal. Now I'll close it down. All right, so let me just create it like this. All right, so now open it as sal, right? Now we're opening 2 files with open. This file as emp comma and open sal.txt. Oh, sorry, I have to fulfill this, right? Okay, open now sal.txt as sal, right? Now you're using single with to open 2 files, right? So this is understood. Now what I do, I will say for, right, for E as an employee and S as in salary. So I'll say for E and S, there are 2 range variables declared, but they are going to iterate through 2 files. And then I say, hey, zip these files, which is EMP, which is employee, and salary. Now what am I doing here? Employee will iterate through, right, and each and every value will go to E. Salary iteration will go to E. Now I'm using zip. Now zip is going to zip them, write iterables and create the multiple iterables as a single iteratable, right? And now you mind if I say, without closing the file, single line statement, I will say I want to print emp, and I want to print, or let me say like this, I want to print okay, I will say I want to print like this, the salary of this, right, which is going to be E, is S, right? So let me see this now. Now see the zip, we have an error. Okay, we don't have emp.t. What is text? It's txt, sorry. Right, now you can see the salary. I'll just expand it a bit. Now you can see the salary of, gosh, I'll run it again. Now you can see the salary of Fahim is 24,000, the salary of Naveed is 15,000, the salary of Jahangir is 32,000, the salary of Amir is 45,000. Now this is coming from two different files, which are txt files, right? And even if you want to just print them without formatting, I will say emp plus sal. So you can do this as well. Now you can get it, right? You can say this emp plus sal, because it is going to, what is emp plus sal? E plus s, right? Alright, so you can say Fahim is 24,000, and if you want to print them in a single line, so you can say end is equivalent to this. So you can see that you're printing in a single line, or you can see like this, print E and print S. Now it's coming, it's going to come in a single line. It should come Y and is equivalent to nothing. Fine. So Fahim is 24,000, Naveed is 15,000, Jahangir is 32,000. Right, so because it's zip, so that's why it's coming like this, right? So, or the better way to print is the starting format. The salary of this is this, the salary of this is this. Now, yeah, if you want to keep, you should always try and keep it using try catch or within the try catch block. So that's always recommended, right? And we have second thing. Now, what is map? Now this is zip. So I'll write the definition of zip so that you don't forget it. Right, my duty is to make sure that you clear examinations and also clear all the interviews that basically you may go. Zip is a function. As I said, anything which has these parentheses is a function. Always and always remember this, right? What is zip? It is a function. Now, which kind of function is zip? It is a built-in function. Now, what are built-in functions? Now, can you give me an example of few more? Let me just quote it. Okay. Coming now, what are the examples of built-in functions? For example, I say num1 is equivalent to 100, right? And then I say print num1. So this is understood that you are going to get 100. But yeah, if I say print id of num1, now you can see you're passing num1 to id. Now, if I just delete it, what are you printing? So let me do it like this. So I will say val is equivalent to num1, and I will say print val. Nothing is going to happen, you're still going to get 100, right? Now, but if I say I need id of num1, right, and print it out, now you're getting id right here, which is the memory location or the address of the memory you're getting right here, right? But what is id? It is a function. You can see you passed one parameter to the function id. So now what is id? I repeat, id is a built-in. It is a built-in function. Right, okay, let me just keep it like this so that it is also visible for you guys, okay? Built-in function, so I'll say number one built-in function, we've seen id. Now second is type. I will type, we are going to get int. It returns int, and I can see it returns the class type, which is int, right? So second we have type, built-in function 3, id, that you have not, int, if you want to convert anything to int, right? If you want to convert anything to float, they're all built-in functions of Python, right? And the function that we create is user-defined function. The function which is already available, you don't create it, is known as a built-in function, and the function that you create is known as a user-defined function. So it's as simple as anything. Now, zip we have seen, and what is the definition of zip? Zip is a built-in function, right? It iterates over multiple. So it iterates over multiple iterables in parallel. Right, so in parallel, right? It's, you have to remember this, that zip iterates over multiple iterables in parallel. Now in parallel you can see blue with sky, red with sunset, green with lawn. All right, so it's iterating in parallel, so you have to remember. All right, and now if tomorrow someone comes up and asks you what is zip, you'll say it is a built-in function which iterates through multiple iterables in parallel, right? Meaning, right? So I'll write it down here with zip, right? What are you going to do? We can act upon two lists at once, right? Right, so that's the sufficient definition. Please take, and from today you have to take copy, and you have to take copy and pen, and clearly create a new copy so that you can save all the important points. And for that you don't have to go through all the lectures from the beginning, right? So you don't have to do that. What you have to do, take copy, and whatever I have told you or whatever I have taught you, you can recap that, all the important points, or you can recap all the important points from the file, right? So that was a zip. Now let us come back to another thing, which is map. All right, now what is map, right? So basically it is again a built-in function, right? It is built-in function of which, right, of Python, right? And it applies to every element of input iterables, right? Now what is the meaning of this? It's a built-in function, we know that, but what is it applies a function to every element of input iterables or collections. All right, so let me show you a demonstration of that. What do you call that as? Okay, let me say if I am defining a function right here, and the function is known as sum, and this function takes two parameters, a and b. The function takes two parameters. I go inside the function and I say, hey, you are doing nothing but returning a plus b. All right, so the function returns back to sum, to itself, a and b. Whenever, if I say print 10 plus 20, so we will be getting 30. Right, so we're getting 10 plus 20, 30. Okay, so now that's as simple as anything. But what are you doing? Print 10 and 20? No, sorry, you have to call the sum function and print 10 and 20. You'll get 30. Yeah, you're getting 30 right here. So that's understood, right? But let me see that if you have two lists, I have list 1, which is 1, 2 and 3, and I have list 2, which is 5, 6 and 7, right? So we have a function that returns the plus of 2 arguments, and make sure that whenever we call this function, we have to supply, if the function is accepting 2 arguments, you have to supply 2 arguments, right? And you have to supply it. For example, if I call this function sum, I have to supply something that goes in A and something that goes in B. All right, and then you're returning whatever is supplied, you're returning the sum of that, right? But now I have two lists here. All right, and now if I say L, now you can see I'm using, all right, list here, and I'll say list and declare a variable x, and I will say for x, I'll say, now this x is basically a range variable, right? Because you have to iterate through multiple iterables, right? You can say L1 and L2, right? So you're iterating through L1 and L2. So as simple as anything, there's nothing big happening right here. If I say print L, so you're not going to get the desired result, right? You'll not get the desired result. So what is L1? I can say X in, sorry. Okay. Now you can see that you're not going to get X for X in, we can say L1 and L2. Even if I say I want to get the sum of L1 and L2. Now you're calling sum and you're supplying parameters of L1, iteratable, right? 1 and 5 and then 2 and 6, right? But yeah, now you can see you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You haven't got sum here. What you want to basically, map through it, right? So now if I say that I need to give a map of sum, now you can see it's going to map it automatically. Now, okay, just a moment. Map must have at least 2 arguments. Now, who told you map must have 2 arguments? No, it's not necessary. Okay, so let me see. X for X in map, right? Yeah, it takes 2 arguments, which is sum, right? And the sum is function name, and yeah, we are applying the sum is function name right here, and we are supplying L1 and L2. Now let me see what is happening. Right, you're getting 6, 8 and 10. Now clearly you can see. Now first L1 and L2 is supplied, that is 5 and 1 is 6. Second iteration 6 plus 2, which is 8, and 7 plus 3, which is 10. Now you can see clearly here the result is here. Now what map does, it takes the function name, which is sum, and supplies 2 parameters, but iteratable. They are not 2 parameters. We can call them ourselves, but yeah, we cannot call them like in lists, because we have to, even if we call them, we have to supply 10 and 20. We cannot supply L1 and L2, and we don't expect multiple iteratables. Now 1 to be added on first iteration, 1 will be added to 5. Now it will go to X, right? First, what is going to happen? The addition is going to come, right? Go to this X, and the iterated value is going to this X, and then you're printing, you're going to L. So this is how it happens. Map is going to also do in parallel, but it is going to do with the function. So zip without the function, a map with the function, right? So if you want to supply a list of things to a function, you can do that by using map. And the definition of map, as I said, built-in function of Python, and it applies to every element of input iterables. Now you can see, right? So it is declarative. Fine. And function should take the same number of arguments as the iteratable. So for example, if I have L2 and then I have L3, so if I supply L3 here, so I'm going to get an error, right? So sum takes only 2 positional arguments. Then I'll have to take the third argument as well, so which is going to be C. Then I can say A plus B plus C. So that's also going to happen. Now 11, 14, 17, I can say is going to be 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 14, 12, 12 plus 2, 14, and 5 plus 5, 10, plus 1, 11, 11, 14, 17. Let me take a look at the timing. So we have crossed 53 minutes. But I do practice in case if you require some help. In case if you're not understood it, we'll recap it. Don't worry, right? But yeah, take a note of all the important things, right? And we'll continue with map, and we'll continue with files, and we'll also continue with filter, right? And we have many things that we can continue with. And one of the most important topics that is coming up is Lambda expressions that we'll be using to inline functions like C++ has. So we have Lambda expressions right here, so we'll be using Lambda as well, and we'll be seeing more range variables, and we'll be dealing with more files, more maybe we are going to wind up the last part of intermediate training before we start directly with object-oriented programming. And we still have some files remaining. But yeah, I wish you all the best, and do let me know in the comment section if you want anything or if you want any kind of help. Or if you have not understood, you can even WhatsApp me, and I shall be very content and obliged to respond and clear all your doubts. And wish you all the best. Work hard, and goodbye, champions.